welcome to Stereotypes, a podcast where we talk about stereotypes. The following podcast will include some profanity, so please beware. I am Mahina Wong, your host for this podcast. We have Justin, Vincent, and Kelly. Would you like to introduce yourself and what art subject do you do? I do theater in the IB, by the way.
I'm Justin, and I'm the co-host of the show, and I'm doing the music elective in DSE.
I am Vincent Chan from Jacaranda, Form 5, and I am doing higher level arts in IB, visual arts.
Yeah, and I'm Kelly, and I also do IB Theater HL. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're all art students, so we all suffer the pain of stereotypes, and because some of us are doing some of us are further educating into the arts. I am sure you've heard a lot of stereotypes about yourself, and it must be positive, right? No. Anyway, so this episode we're going to talk about stereotypes. Justin did some research, and it's just going to be like a small discussion of like 4 different art kids talking about how life sucks being an art student and how we're being judged. Awesome. So, because I made the mistake of forgetting to ask people for assumptions, we're gonna say the assumptions we've all heard about ourselves. Kelly, how long have you been like an art kid or drama kid? Because I've only been one for 3 years. Yeah, my art story, my drama story is very, very cliche and weird.
I feel like it's unclear because like I started doing theater ages ago, but an art kid, it'll be like 2 years ago.
Vincent?
Well, actually, I started enjoying arts at the age of 7. I gradually just continued drawing from then until now. But I must admit, Form 5, actually, school in general made me have this hatred for holding a pencil now.
I'm so sorry. And Justin, how long have you been in music, like the arts? I guess because you do everything, right? Like you draw, you do music, and you can also like act really, really good.
And sing.
Yeah.
No, not sing. I can sing, I can dance. No, I can't sing. What am I saying? I can't sing, but I can dance and play music. I've played music since I was 6. But last year I still wanted to be a musician, but now I don't want to be it anymore because it's low pay, and I know I'm not gonna get myself a job.
Cool. Yeah, that's it. I like to ask, how many people are going into the field of arts? Like, I don't. Okay, so basically, what I'm gonna consist the arts is as a future major is it has to be in the faculty of your university's art course. So like faculty of arts or faculty of drama, faculty of blah, 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 it goes on. How many of us are actually doing that? Because I personally am, but I'm also double majoring, planning to, so I can't technically say I am. Kelly, are you?
Wait, so going into a theater and for university, you mean?
Yeah, so basically going into the arts, yeah. Vincent?
Yes.
I plan to do architecture in the future.
And Justin?
Which is...
Oh, yeah, no, go on, sorry.
Which is odd because because right now at school, I'm doing expressions and people and poses. And it's not buildings, which is confusing, but all right.
And Justin? Cool. I think he's gonna open and close something.
Okay, I'm back. I want to do media studies, which kind of fall into the category of art, but I'm not very sure. Not very sure yet.
Awesome. I'm going to, I think most of my assumptions are for drama kids, but I don't actually know if they apply to like the other genres of arts. One of them I definitely heard from parents is like, oh, arts is so useless. You're gonna come out and get a low paid job. How many people have heard don't do arts as a subject or as an elective because you're gonna get a low paid job? I want to hear your experience because I went into drama form 3. I went into VA first. I didn't like the teacher, and I was like, you know what? I'm only doing an arts for a year, which is why I only chose like VA. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drop it next year and do chemistry because my plan was pre-med or psych. Changes happened, and I ended up going into Form 4 drama. Changed like a week before we started Form 4, and then that's when I started considering going into drama, and that was because of Phantom of the Opera. We're not gonna go to the long end story of it, but basically I had a lot of changes, like, oh, do I want to do like a drama major or like a backstage management degree? Because some jobs, some majors are very weird, and like there's like backstage management, drama and education, drama and acting, long list. So basically that. I don't know how your parents have reacted when you first said, oh, I want to major in the arts. So basically faculty of arts. And they might have said, oh, low pay, useless. Don't just do the arts because you're going to not get a job. Has anyone heard of that? Anyone want to share the experience? Understanding is quite personal as well. So.
Okay, I'll go. So no, I don't think my parents are like anything that are like, no, don't do arts. They're pretty supportive, but you definitely get comments from like other parents and also other people when they're just like, oh, you're doing arts as a major, that's just insulting. But well, I think I'm the one who worries about like not getting paid and not finding a job or whatever. That's why like going to London is what I want to do because there's more job opportunities there. But yeah, I think it's just sometimes being in Hong Kong and you're an art student, it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah, I totally agree because the reason for that is because as you go into wanting to study drama, you need that experience, right? So I'm not like an actor type of thing, more like a backstage. I don't like being on stage. Being on stage, not my thing. So it was hard to like, I know outside of like, UK, US, there's a lot of courses for like backstage management or for courses that is not internally on stage, but more external. So it was hard. And I've definitely heard like, you're doing a musical for the summer break? What are you doing? Like, go start your EE or something. Like my own boyfriend was like starting his EE summer, and I was still here doing like a musical, and my musical ended up lasting for 6 months instead of 2. So I don't know, but it's hard to do, like, for me it's hard to do drama in Hong Kong because it's not a popular culture. It's not well known. People degrade you for taking the arts. My parents are very supportive of me going into arts, by the way. But, there's definitely people, or, there's people like, oh, you're in the arts. So are you going to actually get paid? Are you getting a job? Like, yeah. Anyone else?
I know there's a little story I can say. First of all, I think it's safe to assume that a lot of Asian parents would tell their children to say, for example, they'll say, oh, when you grow up, you got to be a doctor and earn lots of money. I'm sure all of you heard that. Well, actually, I've seen some people where they would have an interest and have this sort of talent for a certain art subject. It can be drawing. It can be like, I don't know. It can be as simple as like taking photos or modeling poses, which is good. It's good, and it shows your passion for it. If you do it in your free time and you enjoy it, it could mean that it means something. You have this passion, you have this skill. But then I see a lot of Asian parents not demeaning actually, more like telling their children, hey, we want you to focus on being a doctor. I mean, look at this. What can this get you? And on one hand, it's really understandable why they're saying that. On the other hand, it's also like it's gonna stray them off a path where they could actually, enjoy their future. Uh, uh, I know, I know a few people that has had their like who has shown interest in art subject, and I would tell them, hey, go for it. But then they would suddenly tell me in the end, I don't think it's good that I have a career related to this art. I think it's better if I just like studied to be a doctor. But then I also know some actual people who are architects now, not architects now, but like they're studying being architects, considered being a doctor, and when they decided to become an architect, not actually an architect, like when they decided to study architect, they sort of thought that decision was the right decision.
I think Justin wanted to be a musician, but then ended up going in or discovering a different path, which honestly, myself, I've been through quite a bit. Like, because first of all, I was scared of going into the arts because my parents have a weird concept. Like one moment they're like supportive of it, the next moment they're not. But now they're full on supportive. I like to think that. But I also know like it's hard to go into research of being like an art student in uni, and then you second guess like, oh, should I actually go into the arts because it's unstable. Well, I'm quoting all this, but I'm actually not too sure. It's unstable and it's not safe. It's not high pay, and I there's always like a peer pressure with siblings. Not myself, because my brother also takes drama actually. But like, I know some siblings are like, oh, I take econ. I'm actually a pre-med student. But then you're like, I'm a drama student. So yeah, just that you want to share experience. If it's too personal, again, don't go for it.
It's totally fine. First of all, I want to elaborate on Kelly's point of like assumptions that we have ourselves. I totally agree with that. Like I have assumptions myself on like art students, like being low pay, and then one of my biggest concern when I was thinking about being a musician was I good enough, or am I good enough to be a musician, right? Because you know that like in every arts field, there's that one crazy person who's really good at it. And unless you're crazy talented or crazy lucky, you don't get the chance to earn as much money as you want to, right? So if you're not that good, or you don't have good luck, you're gonna end up be a plant in Lady Gaga's video, which is like I don't think it's worth it for me. Like I don't think it's worth it for anyone to be like, I don't know, like a shadow in a Beyonce video. It's like, what? It's not even worth it. But yeah, my brother is an artist, and when he told my parents that he was going to be an artist, they said, you're going to be homeless. But he kind of just like, he just went, like, fuck it, I'm going to do whatever I want to. And then he just went to art school, but then he dropped out a month later. And then he he went to do like online art certificates and stuff, and now he's kind of employed. He's 24 now, but he's employed but not really employed, you know what I mean? So like seeing him, it made me think, wow, like what am I gonna do with my life if I do study? Like no shade to him, honestly, but like I don't know if I want to do that myself, because it's really like murky, it seems like. And you have to be crazy lucky or crazy talented, as I said. So yeah.
I think I'm going to build up from that because, yes, it does involve quite a bit of luck, first of all, and crazy talent. I have none of those. It's proven in the IB. I like to conclude that I will never have luck in the future anyway. But there's also like, how I think all drama students will relate. I go into drama, and if I don't come out being an actor, I'll teach because that's the second best thing. I definitely heard people say this is not, but I actually plan on going into education or into therapy after my bachelor's. So there's that because I take psych right now. I think there's like a ideology, like at least for some of my parents, no, some of my family members, they're like, oh, if you go to drama, you're only going to act. So like you're only gonna be either Broadway or West End, right? Like, first of all, no. And second of all, the drama doesn't mean acting. Because like how we're online school now, and I think everyone will relate. Your parents, maybe sometimes your parents are home and they see you doing like online classes. I don't think they're starting to realize like, oh, you don't just sit down and act in drama. Like you actually have to do, like you need to contribute your time to it. How many of us in the IB or DSC realize you spend more time in the arts than any other subject right now. Because I definitely did for like a few assignments here and there. Because for my director's notebook, took the whole break, Christmas break, and I think Kelly will relate. So basically, it's like a 20-page long document, booklet, anything basically. So it's like a 20-page long document, and then you have to do like a whole director's process for it. That took the whole Christmas break away from me. But I'm not too sure because I think the art, everyone thinks the art is easy. Like, oh, you're just doing the art because it's like an easy subject, right? Who thinks that? Actually, who thinks like, oh, actually, art is one of the easier subjects I have right now compared to like your sciences or your humanities or whatnot.
I don't honestly. I don't know because I don't really take science. Well, I do ESS, but but it's just theater does take a lot of our time. Like we're literally required to stay after school sometimes and to do work, and also we have to write down everything we go through and all that process, like a theater journal, and that takes a lot of time. And also, it's just so it doesn't necessarily take more time than other subjects, but it definitely takes up a lot of my time during now when I'm doing my homework or something.
Vincent?
Hi. Well, what were we talking about?
We're talking about how art takes up a lot of our time, like the subject arts.
Oh, definitely, especially VA. Can I swear in this?
Yes, you can. I'll put like a
Fucking A. Are you gonna bleep it?
No, I'm just gonna put disclaimer like, oh, no swearing. Yeah, basically that. But you could swear, yeah.
Fucking A. Well, I could go on to talk a lot about it, but art in general takes a lot of time and effort, or at least drawing. I'm not sure. I know that Kelly was just talking about how drama and the sketchbook stuff can take a lot of time, but outside of school, how long does it take for you? Like, how much time does drama consume outside of school?
I think around
Do you
2
understand?
weekends. No, like a weekend. Like, okay, it's different for different tasks. Cause like I know the curriculum. No, the diploma requires different things for different art subjects. So like for drama, we have 4 tasks. There's we have a solo theater performance, a collab project, a director's notebook, and a research project. So 2 of them are more like academic based things, and then
I was talking about it like just not
it depends
school
on
related at all. Like hobby.
like
Wait,
hobby.
I don't think drama can be a hobby.
It can. Like I think
Can actually be a hobby.
Kelly is consumed by drama a lot by the weekend. If I'm
Did you just okay, no, it consumes a lot of my time every single weekend, and this whole entire month is taken by my musical rehearsals.
No,
and literally I just came back home.
I mean outside of school, as in drama,
Yeah,
like acting
outside of
as
school.
a hobby.
Yeah.
As a hobby. Really?
I like participate in things that are outside of school, which takes a lot of my time. Yeah.
That must take a lot of time then. Yeah. I can see how.
Because
but
Kelly, what I know, and I think it's a very drama thing, I'm actually not free this weekend. I have rehearsals. I think Justin, Kelly, and me were in Oliver, right? How many times did you have to decline like a hangout saying, I'm so sorry, I have like rehearsals. Sorry, I'm actually performing these days. Come buy tickets though. Like we're performing, and so how many times did you how many at least 3 times have you had to do such thing for like
it sounds exhausting too. Because like, wait, do you are the plays usually at night?
Yeah, usually most stuff are at night. Yeah, and then the musical we did during the time of when we had it, we had to protest. So that disrupted a lot of things. Like the rehearsals got canceled, some stuff got early off, like some things got like cut off like 2 hours. And then because I was backstage manager that time, they literally had us in 8 weeks before the actual musical. So I'm assuming the musical was 6 months before. So 8 weeks, like 2 months. Barely could have got everything done. We had to stay a lot after school, stayed up a lot of nights for meetings. And because like, you know, like some stuff are like, okay, say like stage management, for example. You have to plan like props go where stuff are, how you like reallocate your stage props and your sets and stuff. But and like, you know how directors really like changing stuff midway, like towards the end of like before performing, they just decide, let's change everything start to finish. We're gonna fix some stuff and we're gonna make changes, and then all stage managers have to like be in charge of fixing this, changing that, dealing with which mic is which. And then on the day it's even more stressful because, you know, actors can prep, stage managers don't really prep for anything, because if one mic is dead, you don't have a second mic to back it up. You just have to conquer and tell your actors to like yell out their line. But yeah, I'm not too sure for how actors work because I've never like performed as an actor technically.
I think it's quite tough, like physically exhausting as well. For VA though, like outside of VA in general, outside of school, people tend to have hobbies like drawing and painting. I would say like those in general, just a single piece of art, just a single piece of work is gonna take a lot of time. Like for some people it can be really quick, but for a lot, give me a second.
Sure, I'm gonna go ahead. So Vincent can deal with, oh, his parents, nice. So I'm gonna carry on the conversation. So do you think mental, like, art is a mental health, like, have you dealt with mental health issues? Not, well, more like mental tolls on yourself in the arts, like, you know, second guessing, anxiety.
Actually, IB art is a mental toll. It's so painful. I'm telling you, it's so painful to force yourself to draw something that you do not enjoy. But then drawing in general, I would say, is actually quite stress relieving because you get to like let all the stress in the form of a picture.
Kelli, Justin?
Okay, so honestly, I for theater in IB or at our school, I don't think it's that mentally stressful for me because I completely enjoy theater and everything we do. Like even if we're doing academic stuff, it's like, oh wow, I actually like this stuff. Like since we got to choose our topics for like our research presentation thing, like I got to choose something I really like, and then when I research about it, I'm like completely okay with it. So all the mental like any stress that's coming from right now is all from just IB in general and not like theater.
Justin, with music?
I enjoy listening to music and finding new music. I like dancing to music. So those parts are fun. But then having to play the music and be good at playing the music makes me want to jump into a volcano because it's really hard. It's really hard to get everything perfect. And then once you don't get it perfect, you want to bite off your nails and then just shave your head. Like that's what I do every time. Like when I practice violin, like an hour, I'll have like 5 times where I can't, maybe like 100 times I can't do something. And then I'll just keep doing it. Maybe I suck at practicing, that's why. But once I can't do that thing, I just go like, I'm gonna eat a rat. I will cut it alive. I will throw it in the volcano. I'll boil it. I'll eat it, skin it, and then wear it on myself to remind myself how bad I am at music. You know, it's just the playing part is just really, it just really sucks for me. But besides from that, it's okay.
I know, I'm not sure.
I relate with that.
Yeah.
I relate with that. Whenever you make a bad artwork, you're just like, I don't want to keep this, and you throw it in the garbage, right? You throw it in the garbage. But then a lot of the time, in VA, they're gonna make you keep that, the stuff that you don't want to look at, the stuff you're really embarrassed about, and they're gonna say it's your progress. And on the other hand, they're also gonna make you do some really stupid things you don't want to do, like take photos of your own face doing weird expressions or posing against the wall, and it's painful.
I think for drama, for me, because our drama class consists 9 people and everyone can act. I am one of the potentially only students who has never acted on stage. Next to my boyfriend, but he has confidence, right? I don't. Like, I am physically scared of acting in front of the 9 people. The 9 including the teacher in my class, because everyone has experience on stage. Like, everyone's confident, everyone can sing, dance, act. I can only write. The only thing I can do in theater is write like a really, really good director's notebook, maybe, and do like a really good presentation. But like say right now we have a research presentation, right? So we need to do like a moment of theater where we perform the theater tradition we're doing. I'm telling you, I've had nightmares of like doing the moment of theater because I chose Chinese opera. It's terrifying because I'm not good at singing any of the notes in Chinese opera. I am not physically capable of doing anything in the regards of a fan kick or like, I don't know, anything Chinese opera related. So basically, in drama, for me, it's more like, oh, look at these 8 people. They can actually do stuff. And then there's me, like small potato in the class. I don't even know what I'm doing in the class half the time when we're told to like perform or improvise, because I can't do either. I'm not so sure if it goes for everyone, but comparing yourself to like another person in the class, for me, has been a huge mental toll on myself. And that's because like drama, there's like no like right answer, but there's definitely like, oh, the better act and like the worst one. I don't know, does it happen to you guys or is it just me?
That is completely true, and I'm sure it's happening I'm sure it's for drama and music as well. I'm sure, actually, interesting topic for any art subject that I don't know if it applies on like science. Skill. There's always this skill level, skill cap. There's always this amount of skill, and we're getting judged for it. Our ability to actually be good at drawing, our ability to be good at playing music, our ability, like what Justin said about feeling bad, and our ability to being able to act like, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. Wow, he's so good at acting. It's like it's also like a huge mental stroll in the sense that comparing yourself with others or putting expectations for yourself that are too high, too critical, but then it's not actually obtainable. It creates this, like, I'm sure we all understand. It creates this how do you say? It's sort of this loop. Like you do good, you are improving, you do good, but you're never satisfied. I can see Justin just shaking his head in agreement.
He dropped his
What do you
pen
guys think?
on the ground. I agree, because I think with myself, I'm never satisfied with what I do, especially in the arts. Like I could be really satisfied with like a geography paper, but I don't think I've been satisfied in the arts. No matter if that's on being a stage manager, doing anything in regards to the subject. Like say process journal, for example, in 4 and 4. My teacher really liked it, but I look back at it and I despise my process journal because I just think it looks so bad. But I think because we're all like, like you have like a mental loop about yourself, like, oh, you do it, you think it's a smart idea, and then you go back down to where it's like, oh, it sucks, it's trash. And so you keep doing that same cycle, and it's actually really bad for your mental health. Because for drama, and I'm sure this doesn't apply for everyone who does it, but academically speaking, if you're not top band, and because the arts is so controversial, right? Like if you can do Sarah Kane, one person can do it like in like the theme of depression, and one can do it in anxiety, right? So people might say, oh, I think the one in anxiety is correct. The other might say, no, I think the one in depression is correct. So who do you like? There's no right answer. So you're always scared of that being wrong, and you second guess your own art, I guess, and it go into the mental loop because you're acting yourself, right? So you're you're in the impression of you're not doing good enough for yourself and you're not doing good enough for others. But it's not about acting. It's more like the work you produce as a director, as a stage manager, as whatever. I don't know. Can anyone relate to this, or am I just like rambling to myself?
Like, yeah, I would just like to reiterate, like, you know, the part where we get frustrated with ourselves. For a while back, I had to do the grade 8 Valen exam, so I had to do this remote exam. And after I did it and I rewatched the clip of me playing it, every little crack I made with a violin, I just wanted to shove a knife up my ass. Like, just shove it up my ass, because it was so painful to see myself suck and then not playing the right notes and then like cracking and, you know, like not playing very well. And then I remember my teacher was going like, "You're not good enough." Like, not good enough, but like, you could be better. You could be much better. He even told me to re-record it, but then I'm thankful I didn't, because I got distinction. Flex.
Actually,
Flex, hard flex.
a long time ago, I did drum tuitions. You know, like I thought playing the drum was one of the easier instruments, right? Then I sucked so bad at it, and my teacher got to the point where he's like, "Oh, I don't want to teach this student anymore." I remember how brutal the teacher was as well. It was kind of scary, in the sense that he had other students, and one time we were always going to be assessed in the where he would make us perform in front of a bunch of random strangers. And of course, I don't want that. That's terrifying. What if I fail in front of them? I'm gonna make a fool out of myself. And that's exactly what he does. He he makes you perform in front of an audience, and I did okay. I did good enough. I passed. But then there's this other kid who didn't pass, who did really badly, and he was doing a similar song as me. But he got to the point where he did so poorly, probably from peer pressure, that he left. Like he tried to leave afterwards, like as soon as possible. But then the teacher told him to come back, and his teacher like said in front of the whole audience, "No, I want you to do this again." And so he did it again. And at the end, I caught him crying with his like crying with a bunch of tears. It was terrifying. I don't know what kind of mentality that teacher was trying to like put on us. I uh yeah, looking at you do bad, and also like also like pressure in front of an audience as for music, I can imagine is probably really like really awful.
Kelly, you want to say anything?
I just feel like everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in Hong Kong have done like at least one instrument when they're young, and like, well, I've definitely learned like violin at some point, and it was the most frustrating thing ever in my life. It's like, how the heck do I memorize a whole entire music score and also play it well and also dance during it, by the way? It was absolutely terrifying. So yeah, I feel like it's just uh, hard.
Do you guys ever did your parents ever tell you to play the piano? Or is it just my parent?
I went to a music school. So my experience was terrible, which actually was the reason I got anxiety. So basically, in that school, we had around 10 subjects. Not even 10. There was like, so we had 4 music subjects. We had music appreciation, music composition, so music as the subject itself, like music as like the instrument, and then we have performance. So basically, you had exam for all 4 things. I went midway year 3. I didn't touch an instrument. I've never done an instrument. I went in learning violin. If you weren't grade 8 by year 5, you just sucked. Basically, you get looked down, and people be like, "Oh, you're not grade whatever yet. What are you doing?" I basically had to catch up 3 years worth of music that I've never done before. And after like the moment I hit into secondary school or left that school, I just dropped my violin. I was like, you know what? I'm already at grade 8. I don't need to prove myself to anyone that I can play a violin because I'm not even planning to go into music. And like every time I do I touch a violin now, like I get so traumatized because I basically done it every single day, and I hated it. Not that I hated the violin, I really liked it, but I hate it. I hate it because it feels like a forceful instrument I just have to do to impress others and impress myself, so I won't be looked down. How many? I think all of us have played an instrument at one point, right? Like, yeah, Justin plays an instrument. Kelli, I remember you doing it in MY1, and then Vincent playing the drums. At least I remember. So I think music. There's two ways to see music. You really like it, or you just despise it. I have terrible experience with music, so I wouldn't know.
So here is the research I've done. I'm gonna show you a meme, 3 memes, I think. Okay, I'm sure you can see this one. So we see here, it's an art meme, like a meme about art students. So you can see here, we have a Steven Universe cartoon, we have a beanie, we have some jeans, we have YouTube tutorials on how to draw realistic eyes, we have a depressing image, we have these boots, and then we have like a camera. So what we can infer from this image is basically artists are Tumblr kids. They have a grungy or a Tumblr aesthetic. They wear jeans, it's really like 90s-ish aesthetic, I would say. And then they do recreational drugs. They're introverted. They are hippies. They live, laugh, love kind of. They're that kind of person, right? And then we have the theater majors here. Here, theater majors, they're always busy because they always have rehearsals, and then parents thinks that theater majors, they just go on stage, they act like they do kind of like a what's it called? Wizard of Oz type of thing, just tap dancing on stage, singing whatever, like being kids. And then professors think theater majors, they just sit there and then do nothing. And then society thinks, theater majors are a bunch of lunatics. They go on stage, again, they do tap dancing or whatever. They just spin a few circles and then call it a day, right? And then theater majors think that you guys are very philosophical, very into the moment, very I don't know what word to say, but besides from theater, but theater, very theater. And what you really do is you spend your day like lying on the ground, doing some exercises, I guess. I don't even know, but you guys do like exercises, right? Like those, yeah, I'm gonna move on. And then music majors, parents think that music majors, they just go on street and do busking. And then non-music majors think that music majors, all of us are guitarists or something. I know we play instruments and we're very cool. We have shades on, everything like that. And then teachers think that, I don't know, we're like very we have only them as our teacher, and we're very obedient to learning the craft. So you can see here, like, I don't know, bowing down to them, licking the shoe, kind of. Society thinks that we are like, I don't know, we are theater majors. And then what I think I do is this super romantic, very cool person who plays an instrument very well. But what I actually do is I drink coffee and try to go through the day. So here are some tropes. So in fact, we did touch on some of these. But generally in music or in any art major, people assume that you're going to be unemployed, and they're going to say it's not a real job. But most of these people are super passionate about their craft, whether they're bad at it or they're good at it. We are very emotional. We are very perceptive to our feelings. And sometimes we are portrayed as having a sense of entitlement because we always say, I'm an artist. I'm an artist, so I do whatever I want to. That kind of thing. So drama people some tropes about drama people is that they are very interested in theater and musicals. They treat everything as a musical, like in High School Musical, where every time they have a problem, they just sing about it. Just, oh, I'm sad. Today we're gonna go on a trip. Just things like that. It's just very crazy. You guys are very extroverted to the point where you're very maybe annoying and overly dramatic. For example, in High School Musical, Ashley, I forgot what her name was. The blonde girl. The blonde, yeah, Sharpay. Like Sharpay and her brother, right? So some people view drama people as like Sharpay and his brother, very, very outwardly annoying, right? And then you guys could be the life of the party. I don't know, but you're like the geeks of the life of the party because you guys just stand there and talk about plays and Greek plays. I don't know. And then you guys are just kind of crazy. So yeah, there's that. And then we have the art people who are also kind of lunatics, but then we could say it's like the hippies of the arts. So my interpretation of art people would be like Spencer from iCarly, because he does like crazy sculptures and then just runs around doing, hey, I'm doing this art project. I need to, I don't know, sew an elephant's ear into my face or something, just crazy stuff. You guys, you guys are very philosophical as well, but then you guys take recreational drugs. You guys smoke cigs. You guys always have dirty hands or paint on your clothes because you're always, working, right? And then you guys are very introverted and weird and nerdy, and you guys don't really talk about your feelings because, I don't know, people think that you guys can't communicate, but you guys, like, you can only communicate through your art and drawing weird things, like, I don't know, nude models or something. And then you guys have a very refined aesthetic. As I said, a very grunge, very Tumblr aesthetic with like a dyed hair, hippie clothes, loose clothing. Another example would be that teacher from Victorious. He's like not wearing shoes and stuff. He's just walking around. I'm feeling the nature, I'm very artsy. Always like in one scene he was like high or something from drugs. So that's kind of like the interpretation of art people from society. And music people, maybe I'm being biased, but we're just the most normal of the bunch, Like, I don't know, because music, we can see it everywhere, especially we're consuming music every second nowadays through mass media. So I guess one good example of like maybe a negative trope in music would be like Kurt Cobain. Again, smoking whatever we can find on the ground. Very depressed, very introverted, very anti-normal. Like we're punk rock and we're gonna sack your house, that kind of thing. And then we're like no music, no life kind of stuff. People would view us as like if we can't listen to music, then we're gonna kill ourselves and jump off a roof or something. And people think that we have depression. So yeah. So that's actually no, for people think that all arts have depression, but I think drama, that's not really the case because everyone thinks that drama people are like outward. So yeah, there's that. And then some of the examples would be, as I said, Kurt Cobain, maybe Amy Winehouse, because she did die of overdose, if I remember correctly. And then maybe a film would be Camp Rock, just people running around playing instruments, being super passionate about music. But then it's not like hippie taking drugs kind of like music people, right? So there's that. And some other examples would be Victorious. Victorious is, I don't know if you know, but it's a TV show about a teen art school. And these people are all, yeah. Yes. And then all of them are, I think they're taking different arts or taking all of the arts at the same time, I think. But then, yeah, I'm not very sure on that one. But I think they are. Right? Yeah, but anyways, they're like running around. the show talks about their perspectives and their life, and their life is pretty vibrant. They have crazy house parties. They have crazy jokes, crazy gags. You know, Jade's a character named Jade West. She had her eyebrows like burnt off or something. So like very, we can see like arts people in this show were portrayed as kind of like crazy and very. We have a very vibrant and we have a very vibrant social life and we're very outward. And as I said before, the drama teacher is crazy clothing, hippie like, very inspirational. And oh yeah, people think that we're very abstract. We like to talk about philosophy, like life and stuff, you know. And one other thing to point out is that they think we're nerdy, and from the character Rex, we can see that. You know, that guy that's holding the puppet and running around with Rex is a puppet named Rex, right? The puppet's named Rex, right? Yeah, so the guy's running around with his puppet and then saying nonsensical things. So people think we're like that. Do you guys have any response to the assumptions I found or made?
Okay. Well, I think I can talk for theater kids, I guess, that definitely not everyone is extroverted, not everyone is life of party, and not everyone likes to socialize. It's not a big thing. Like I'm pretty sure Mahina agrees with this. Like, but personally, I'm not like it's not like I don't like to go socialize. It's more like it's not my thing. It's
like we have friend groups. We talk within the friend group. We don't have to. Yeah, it's not like we go out and we're like, hey people, I'm here. Like we have some people are more, you know, internally friends with people and connects there more than the rest of the world. We're not all Sharpays, sadly, but yeah.
No, I think Victorious is just over dramatic, even though I love the show. But it's just like it's portraying drama people and artistic people in a really dramatic way. Even though sometimes it could be true, but these are still stereotypes, basically.
Vincent?
My biggest question was, why the heck was there a Steven Universe picture?
I don't know. I think it's trying to say like our people are interested in animation, not necessarily Steven Universe, like cartoons and animation.
Mean the fandom, or do you think it's actually just animation? Because if it's animation, sure, but if it's Steven Universe in particular, I think they mean the fandom.
Yeah, I think maybe both. Maybe the fandom and the fact that you guys like animation and cartoons.
Animation, I don't. There's nothing wrong with liking animation, is there now? But I don't think people should assume that every artist is in a fandom or something. Or maybe it's trying to say we're introverted. I'm not too sure. I know that a lot of artists, well, yeah, a lot can be introverted, and I guess it's a very common. It's very common. You see like this. You see a really talented artist, and they're also really shy. You don't like to talk about it. I know a few friends like that, but then not all really good VA students are like that. A bunch are very extroverted as well. They just like as well. Essentially, I think. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. I don't know. I don't know how to put it into. I don't know how to give an example, but yeah, pretty much like that.
Do you guys judge your own subject people? Like, okay, for example, I judge Kelly in drama, right? I don't, by the way, just to make it very clear. But
no, I get what you mean.
Like, do you judge like, oh, they're not actually like that good? Like, why are they in the subject? They're not actually like
that
in
is
this field.
Actually, I do sometimes. Not because they're not good. It's because they really don't. Like in art class, I have a few classmates. I don't want to say names. That's why I'm saying few classmates all the time. But a few classmates where they clearly have another passion. Like I know two guys, where one is gonna be a gymnast and they're doing VA. What? It doesn't mix. But then the other one is also like really active, very not extrovert, like very active. Has other subjects they're better at. And when I talk to them and ask them about art VA, they express to me how they just genuinely don't like it. And I see their progress in art as well. They are extremely slow. So I feel as though there are those kind of people.
I think there's like for me also like I don't really judge anyone because like like drama is a very controversial thing. Like some people prefer like like when you perform something, there's like two types of emotions you usually go for. You're either depressed or you're really, really happy. Yeah, depressed version, I'm usually the depressed one because I'm more of a sad act person, I guess. But like there's definitely moments where I'm like, why you like they over exaggerate something in their act that doesn't make sense. I'm not even gonna list names. It's like one of the two boys in our class. So like figure it out, Kelly. I guess you can guess which one it is. Yeah.
I honestly I feel like for theater, since you know how we learn about a lot of theorists, everyone like even performing a piece of just a moment of theater, whatever they do themselves, it's like you can do whatever and it still be a piece of performance. And it's hard to judge because even okay, if you look at like what was it, absurdism, God, how do you even analyze that? Like it's just nothing.
You don't.
So,
I did absurdism.
yeah,
I absolutely
I
died.
So I feel like judging other people's performance definitely not a great way to go with theater, but well definitely there's people who might not be genuinely interested in theater that take theater, but they do what they want to do. So yeah.
I know there's definitely people that do theater because it's the easiest subject, they think. But like the amount of time we waste in the subject is hard to say. I know some people don't spend like a lot of time on it, but I also know there's some people like me. I spend a lot of time on like one assignment because like our subject is like a continuous grading system. You don't do like one test and then you get a grade like geography or like a science. Like in drama for us, it's like you do this one thing and then you get grade on this one thing and this goes in your predicted grade. And if you fail it, good luck finding a uni that will want you. It's kind of along those lines. I don't know if that's for the SE subjects like the arts, but I know in IB like most subjects for the arts is very like one line grading system. So you go from point A to point B and there's not like a moment where you just hand in your work. It's like a continuous line of when you stop, you just stop and your teacher just grades your stuff. I don't know, Justin?
For DSC music, it's the final exam really depends on, we have 4 components. We have performing, composing, music appreciation, I think, and then something else I forgot. But then for DSC, it's mostly just doing papers, and then we have to compose and have to perform. But basically, if you already did grade exams, you need to do the performing part. You can just hand in your certificate. So I would say DSC music, it's kind of easy. But back to the comparing part, I think in music, it's more because of constructive reasoning. So like when we listen to other people playing, obviously you want the music to like be beautiful, right? To at least like be satisfying at least, right? So when we listen to other people, it's more like we're judging them, but then we're giving feedback based on a constructive level. Like we're not trying to bring them down. We are trying to make them be better. So I think the judgment, yeah, it maybe like if you are sensitive to it, then I don't think it's a really good idea if you listen too much to constructive criticism.
I
But
think it's hard to
if
even
you
do
want to
the
improve,
arts if you're a very sensitive person because like the arts is like there's no, it's not like science, right? Like you can say, oh, what do you breathe? Like, if you say the lungs, then that's the right answer. But if it's drama, it's like, oh, which is the mandatory fee for 4.4 psychosis? There's not one. So there you go. I also have one question for everyone. Has anyone ever doubted themselves in the arts? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this subject. I don't want to do it. It's hard. I'm giving too much time to it. Can anyone raise up their hand if they have? Vincent, do you want to talk about it?
I guess. Hold on. It's about. I know I was raising my hand, but what was it about again?
Like, do you second guess yourself in the arts, or have you doubted yourself doing the arts before?
Yeah, of course. Like, it's tough to the extent where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or I think to myself, I put more effort than others because others only make one painting. I have to do a bunch of like 1,000 different sketches. It's annoying. Every day I need to like produce multiple things over and over. I have an entire pile of it. It's piling up. As in, you can go to the art room and you can just see my pile. It's like this thick or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it gets frustrating, especially during now where we're in quarantine. I'm not allowed to go to. I have to go to the to school as much as possible, as much. Like I need to go tomorrow. Actually, in fact, I need to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just as long as I have time on that day, then I can go. Even on the weekends, like it's kind of crazy. It's exhausting.
I know VA students actually have like a lot of. I know they go back on campus a lot because I have a friend that also does VA. Is in your class. I'm not going to say a name because I don't think he's comfortable with me saying it. But I know he goes back on campus a lot, and you can tell a difference between what he's motivated in doing, like his own art, and what he's motivated and not motivated to do. I think I'm not sure, but I feel like IB arts in general kind of slowly puts yourself in a phase where you actually don't know if you want to keep doing arts.
I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure, but I think it's hard because as a theater,
the truth is, he's doing fine in my opinion. As I seen him, he does come to school more often than the regular student, I would say, and I don't think he's actually that passionate about the piece he's working on right now. Like he seems really uninterested, I guess you can say. Like he told me too that he had to like take pictures outside of Hong Kong as well. He had to go to different places as well.
I think VA students contribute a lot of their time on their craft. Well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like drama students don't do that as much. Like they do, but it's not like I need to go on campus and.
I never see any drama students, but then I presume it's because they're in the drama room. I think they do come though. You guys come, right? Like how?
Like every now and then, yeah.
Every now and then, right? Yeah.
Barely.
Exactly. For VA, I can distinctly remember like a handful of students who go there every single day. It's really funny because every time I go there, I see them. I go every like I would say I go roughly around 3 to 4 times a week. Right? And every single day I'm there, I always see the same students. I'm convinced they are Form 6 students that like they go there every single day because they need to catch up with their work. And I was told by my VA teacher too that I'll have to go there I had to literally make time to go to school when I'm not supposed to go to school. It's frustrating.
I'm not sure how you VA kids handle it, but I am so like when I compare myself to a VA kid, I feel I'm doing nothing because you guys are like always on campus and I'm always like home and I'm still like struggling to like get myself. I struggle going back on campus now because when we go back on campus and we do like theater work, it's usually very practical. And then I start for me, I start comparing myself to people in my class where then I'm not comfortable being on campus doing drama. And like, cause I don't know, like for me, it's very stressful to be on campus and doing art. But if I'm like at home and doing like a research presentation or whatnot, then it's fine for me. I'm not too sure because I just compare myself to a lot of people. Anyone want to say anything?
Sure, I'll add. So, I mean, for theater, we definitely don't go back as much as VA people actually, because our work is so collaborative a lot that during this time we aren't actually allowed to be that close with each other. So
I'm very sorry,
therefore,
but I
we
need to
can actually
pee.
go back.
I need to pee.
Go.
Okay, I need to pee.
Go.
Okay, I'm gonna come back.
So do I? Yes. Okay. So, yeah, I feel like, honestly, I was gonna say that theater can be really stressful if you want to go into theater, because when you want to go into drama school or universities that have a theater course, my God, for drama schools, they don't even care about your scores most of the time. So you literally can't do anything until you audition for it. And then for universities, they either have a really high requirement for your IB score, like all your HLs have to be a 4, and also your final total grade have to be 34 or like even higher, which is unbelievable. But yeah, it's
I have like 3 top schools I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for Cambridge, Birmingham University, and Holloway. Holloway is very I don't know yet because Holloway Mr. Stevenson recommended me, or Central. I'm not so sure yet. Their requirements are insane. Because Cambridge is like, I think the major for Cambridge is called psychology, education, drama major, and it's just like a whole list of stuff you have to do. Like the minimum requirement is 40 for IB with an HL of 677. I was just aiming the very thing. And like Birmingham, you know how they have like a prediction system.
Birmingham.
Yeah, they expect a 34, but like if like your high levels are like this and this, they don't also accept you. So it's like
For Birmingham, it's like 554 or 544.
Where do you see
like,
4? I've never seen a 4 in any drama university. All I've seen is like 6 and 5 or 7 for Cambridge, because Cambridge.
Oh wait, no, you're right. For Birmingham, I think it was like 665. Sorry,
yeah,
wrong thing. It is stressful to go into universities because even though you're like, oh, I really want to pursue my passion in theater, universities expect you to know everything.
Yeah,
right?
that's some sort of,
I feel like it's like unless if you have like a lot of outside experiences from school and like you join a lot of like CCAs and stuff, it's actually incredibly hard, like a drama school or university for drama.
The thing is, drama school and university is so different. Like, I think we've both watched videos on this, right? Like, drama school is just like practical. Drama university is like essay every week, and you just do it. And you need to know everything before you even get into the major you're going for. I don't know. I aiming for university because I'm not like a practical person, very much of an essay type person. Anyway, carrying back on to one more thing actually before we end this podcast. Let's talk about racism in theater, or actually the arts. I don't know. It's like this can go on. Have you handled with it? Are you scared of it? Because like, say for example, Asian racism on Broadway, or people of color not being addressed on Broadway. Have you seen her talked about it, or in any of the arts, and are you worried about it as someone who may be pursuing it, for example?
You said people on Broadway?
Yeah, or maybe in the art. I'm not too sure if there's an issue in the art, but I know on Broadway and West End, there's definitely an issue, like only using white people and not enough like Asian representation or people of color in representation. So
I'm not gonna lie, I never heard of that. Never heard of that.
yeah.
And I don't think there's any racism at all in arts. I mean, art is about expression, first of all. And we think about it, a lot of people they're quite open minded. They have no like judgmental issues on race or anything because ultimately they're like a lot of them are just trying to spread like a lot of the art students are also trying to like make drawings about racism and how it's a problem or like they're trying to spread awareness as well. Like a lot of the artworks about that, but it's not a problem. I mean, I won't not deny the fact that art has the painting about racism has the capability of like influencing a lot of people, and that's a lot of power. But then, yeah, that's about it for racism.
Justin, Kelly.
I think okay, now that you mentioned it, I do think Broadway does have like a race thing. Like, I don't really see people of color in like major Broadway shows. I don't think so. So I do think it is a problem, but I think that yeah, I have to agree with Vincent. Like I think art it's kind of playing against the society because society is like proposing racism kind of with this like things are systematic and white people are just kind of everywhere even though like even it's crazy how most of the world it's people of color but then most of the things we see are white people which doesn't really quite make sense but anyways yeah I think that art it is a medium for us to fight against these oppression but Broadway it's a yeah I don't know what to say about that but I do think it is a problem. Can you elaborate on that maybe you too?
Yes, me. Like Broadway and West End, my God. Like yes, I love them, but like you do see people of color performing for sure, but like there's usually this one character where they make it okay. This is the character where it's the person person of color. Am I saying that right? Okay, yeah. So there would be like, for example, in Les Miserables, it would be Eponine. Like literally, you would see that only Eponine would be someone that's like Asian or African American, and but then all the other characters they'll be like, okay, unless if you're famous, you won't be able to play this role if you're like a person of color, which is kind of no swears. Okay, it's kind of annoying because you're kind of like, oh wow, that means that I do have a limitation on the roles I can audition for, even though they honestly, I actually now that the world has developed, it is it definitely has gotten better and it's not as much. I feel like people won't worry about it as much now than before because before it was definitely a huge problem, but now it's less of a problem. And but one thing that's really annoying to me is that they say that they have like, oh, we have an Asian actress or actor in our show, even though they're actually Asian American and they've been living in America for their whole entire life. And you're just like, well, I can't really relate to that. And it just feels like, oh, it feels like I'm never going to do this. And yeah, basically.
It feels forceful to be Asian American, I guess. Like Philippa Sue, for example, she's in Hamilton and in multiple shows, but she's grown up in America, so I guess she's already whitewashed into the culture. But if you're talking about some people like us, like me and Kelly, for example, because we're grown up in such a like in Hong Kong, and then the moment you go to UK, people just think, oh, I assume they've never touched drama before. I swear I'm gonna bet money someone's gonna say that the moment we both hit to the UK. But I think there's definitely a systematic issue of like shows specifically only having like white people or like Americans, for example. Say Cinderella, for example. Rogers and Hammerstein Cinderella. Laura Osnes and who's the other guy? Needs that Santiago, but I don't think that's his name. And I think every character except Anne, I forgot her last name, but Anne I don't think is completely American. But everyone else is American and white. There's basically no one in the show that is actually like people of color or whatnot. But I also can't just use one show, right? Because like the show is not based on the issue of racism. But there's no shows in Broadway that also addresses this issue. You can argue Hamilton is arguing with it, but is it? I don't know. I've only watched Hamilton once. I'm not actually such a big fan of it. I think the songs are fine, but I'm not a big fan of Hamilton.
One thing I have to note is that most major Broadway shows are written in the 90s, right? Or like, sorry, 20th century, before the year 2000s. And before that time, most scripts do not have people of color. So that's why I think like majority of the Broadway shows, there are no people of color, or like there is a lack of people like representation of people of color, because these shows are all made for white audiences. That's why there are no people of color in it. So I do think that the new wave of Broadway shows and new wave of scripts, they do involve more different ethnic minorities, but yeah, I still think there is a problem that needs to be addressed. But I don't know how people even, it's kind of hard for people to just add in people of color into these classic Broadway shows like Chicago or on The Wizard of Oz. These
Phantom, they're all
yeah,
hard.
Phantom.
I know Phantom has tried to add people of color. Go on, sorry.
No, Phantom did definitely add people of color, but I was actually going to mention that, to be honest, in Wicked, they actually mentioned racism, but in a really weird way. It's because Elphaba is green, so they're it's a really bad theory, but people do say it, and saying that because she doesn't belong in like the
she's a witch, she's different, she's a wizard, she's green.
You know, yeah. They do mention racism, like Hairspray, if you guys watch that.
Yeah, Hairspray addresses racism really nicely, actually, and it's like one of the few shows that address it. I've actually not watched any newer musicals. Like, I don't say I hate. I am scared, and I don't really want to watch shows like Mean Girls, Six. I despise Dear Evan Hansen after one event. We don't go there, but like, yeah, I know they address issues. Now, do I know what specific issue they're encountering? No. Never searched it, never liked the shows, heard some of the songs, didn't like them. Not into the newer genre of musical, which explains why I watch so much canto musicals instead. Or like shows, I don't know. But yeah, there's like, I know there's shows like, say Bandstand. Those are like one of the newer shows, 2012, 15, something along those lines. I know they address issues, not on racism, but like U.S. military. Again, U.S.-based stuff. So not so much on racism. Is there any shows that now address it? I don't know. Never watched like newer musicals. Nothing. I think nothing after 2015 I've watched, except Hamilton. Yeah. Kelly, you would know.
I feel like I should know this, but wait, okay. No, I think the more recent ones that there's definitely a lot addressing racism for sure, and even sexism or what everything actually. Like for Six the musical, they address sexism a lot, and then let me think. I'm not even sure because the more recent ones they're about everything. It's just they don't really have main theme. But now, as musicals or plays have developed, it's just I feel like racism as a topic isn't as popular as before now, because the period of time where racism was such a crucial thing is kind of over in the art world. I'm not saying in like the real world, not the real press, but like just in real life. It's in arts, I feel like they've even though they do continue to address it, it's less shown now, because there's already so many previous works of it, and people want like new things and new stuff in art, basically.
Yeah, same. I agree. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I'm just gonna ask everyone to give advice for anyone who's watching who wants to go into the arts for DP or DSC. Any advice for anyone? For me, and if you're planning to go into drama, don't compare yourself. Try not to compare yourself to others, because it's hard. It's difficult to do art if you're gonna just compare yourself to others.
And if you're ever gonna do VA, sorry, were you saying something?
No. Carry on.
If you're ever gonna do VA, do not miss any work. It's better to, if you're tired that day and you want to just take a break and you have VA homework, it's better to do the VA homework than to let it pile up and screw over your entire future schedule because VA piles up. Don't be lazy, kids.
I'm also gonna say the same. Like drama, if you have deadlines, drama in IB drama, the deadlines aren't as bad in Form 5. But I know in Form 6 it gets more stressful. Don't put your director's notebook or any major task to the very last second. Do not do your director's notebook one day before it's due. That's a huge mistake. I know says someone who did it. Just don't do it. It's a bad mistake. Distribute your workload to different days and then do it. And if you're lazy, still have to do. You have to grind through the day, because it's just, if you do it in one day, it's gonna hurt mentally and physically. You're not gonna sleep that day. So, Justin, Kelly.
Okay, so for theater, okay, since they address the academic side, I will address the practical side, where don't be scared of doing anything. Like, I don't know, for me personally, when I am in school, I'm extremely scared of performing in front of other people. But honestly, don't be scared. Do anything. Nobody's gonna laugh at you. Our teachers are so supportive about everything we do. And choosing theater as one of my lessons has been the happiest moment of my life. And even if you're starting to doubt yourself, you're just probably overthinking. So yeah.
Justin?
Wow, you guys are so depressing. My advice for music students would just be happy. I don't know, enjoy the subject, especially DSC. All you do is just listen to music and then write down what you're listening to, and then just be good at what you're doing, I guess. Like you just have to learn like oral, and then you have to sight sing, and then you have to learn how to listen to music and then write down what you're listening to. So basically, if you're good at that and you're good at playing your instrument, so just like there's nothing you need to worry about. Just enjoy music class. And in CSS, we have two great music teachers, So if we're in Form 4 or Form 3, you should sign up for music next year if you love music, okay? Or like if you know an instrument, you can just sign up and take the course, because it's fun. Unless you don't like music, then don't take it, But just enjoy whatever you're doing in music class.
I'm gonna say the same for drama. Don't do drama if you think it's easy. It's not. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time out of your schedule. If you think it's an easy subject, I'm not gonna say it's easy. It takes quite a bit of time to build up. It takes time to build up your knowledge to the contents you need to learn in IB theater, and I think that applies for all subjects too. Like, it takes time to build up, like, for example, a theorist's theory and stuff, because it's not like one day you'll suddenly know, oh wow, Berkhoff just does surrealism. No, it takes time to understand, takes time to try stuff and whatever. Do it if you're absolutely sure you're ready to, like, practicalize. I don't know if that's a word now. Practicalize your whole life towards something, and don't be scared of trying or asking a teacher for stuff, because theater's just crazy. Their assessments are crazy. Yeah. Vincent, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just sleepy.
Dozing off, saying my I also have so much work too. Anyway, that's it for the podcast. Again, feel free to ask any questions. We're all art students. We're all dying in the diplomas we're taking. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna speak for everyone. I am. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the episode. And what are we talking about next episode, Justin?
Next episode, we're talking about racial stereotypes. This one's going to be a hot one. We also have two guests. We have Smey from Form 5 Boundbacks, and we have Mumtahina from Form 4 Juniper. Smey is from India, she's Indian, and Mumtahina is from Bangladesh. So we're going to have a lot of interesting conversations about different racial stereotypes, and maybe in the Hong Kong context, how they are treated, different type of things. So if you're interested, please join.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode. Bye.
Bye.